Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for Lowcountry Lunatics with your host, Chef Giuseppe from Apostioli and author of From Bars to Jars. We're going to get down, we're going to get real, talking food, faith, and fellowship every Friday on the Lunatic Network. Spill it out. Lunatics, what's up? We are here again with a very special episode. I'm your host, Chef Giuseppe, and I'm here with a fabulous woman. I've known her for a long time. She's a fixture in the Charleston media community. She's bold, she's beautiful, and she's got an interesting perspective on life in Charleston. And it's such an honor, and this is such a weird role reversal. Like I've been on her show, and now she's on this show, and you got to be a little crazy to be with us here on the Lunatics. Ah, you're so sweet. You're something else. And you've got this big like personality and this warm, welcoming vibe, and it's just so cool to have you here with your monochrome couch and shirt that match. Like, brilliant. Look at that color, color coordination at its finest.
Oh yes, very important.
So you've been a part of the media community for a while, and how long have you been here in Charleston? Because I don't even know.
Yeah, so I've been in Charleston now. This December will be 10 years. So it's been a whole decade that I have lived in and around the Lowcountry.
Wow,
it's been that long.
I know, and I met you. I think it had to have been around 2014, 15, right?
Well, I came at the end of 2015, so I think when you came on the show, it was like 2016 or 2017. It was one of the first 2 years on our talk show, Fox24 News Now. So
okay, yeah, that makes sense because I was in contention for the Grammy in 2017. I think that's when that album came out.
That's right. That's what it was. Mm-hmm.
Hey, so I was told by a little birdie that you had this tater tot crawl. Please tell us what that's all about.
Oh God! So this tater tot crawl, this happened years ago. By the way, this is a long time ago. The tater tot crawl. It was me and some other TV personalities and social media influencers invited to go around downtown and sample tater tot menu items at these different restaurants and then rank them. And one in particular stuck out for me. I mean, the tater tots, of course, they were delicious, but it was at the Alley, and that is where, when we were taking our group picture, it got photobombed by none other than the Danny McBride. So that is the one and only picture that I have with Danny. I have been wanting him to come on the show for, as long as he's headquartered Rough House Pictures in Charleston. But, he's a busy guy. He's in high demand. And one day it'll happen.
Well, didn't you just recently do some kind of event or something where you showed up?
So I was too shy to ask him to take a picture with me. So I missed my opportunity there, but we were almost rubbing elbows at this event at Beeple Studios. So if anybody knows who Beeple is a world-renowned digital artist who ascended into huge fame after his NFT sold for a record nearly $50 million, and to this day still holds that record. So he had moved his family to Charleston and established Beeple Studios here. And so this last weekend, Beeple Studios and Rough House Pictures, they collaborated on like this AI-infused performance, just a 2-night only. I mean, the whole thing was sold out like within seconds.
Wow.
But it was a really cool performance where Danny McBride, he presented. Beeple, of course, was there. Beeple's real name, by the way, is Mike Winkleman.
Okay, I did not know that.
I always have to ask him, do you want me to call you Beeple or Mike? And he's like, oh, you can call me. That's okay. I've gotten to interview him twice. Fascinating guy. such an interesting person, so talented, just like, I have so much respect for people who are artists, musicians, who just, they can create something out of thin air, and it's like wonderful. And it speaks to the soul. So it's always a treat to be able to interview people like him. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, I bet it was. I mean, and that's something that I know about you too. Like you have such an inquisitive mind, and you interview like all different types of people from all different walks of life, whether it be business. But it's like, is like lifestyle and culture and art kind of your thing? And where did that come from?
Yeah, I love all those things. And we cover other stuff too, just things that are going on in the community. We've got so many wonderful people with nonprofit organizations that are really there, devoted, dedicated to uplifting their community in some way or another. Like during, I think it's this month, Domestic Abuse Awareness Month. So the organizations that have established themselves here in Charleston to help people find safety and resources. I see you got your cat there too. Oh, what a beautiful cat. People like that who are just so altruistic and philanthropic. That's kind of define their purpose, are very inspiring to me. But yeah, I kind of like covering it all. Politics, things like that. But I guess lifestyle arts in particular speaks to me because once upon a time I used to be an artist. I did ballet for many, many years. I mean, I'm a certain age now, so maybe a few years ago I did it for half my life. And you get to really understand the mind of an artist, the sacrifice, dedication that it takes to reaching certain heights and levels within that art. So I just have a deep appreciation and respect for people who continuously practice their art.
It takes discipline, right? And so wait, how did you go from a ballerina to a producer? You're an executive producer, right?
I know. Well, yeah. So I'll start from the beginning. My mom, she knew that I needed an outlet of some sort. So at 4 years old, she put me in my first ballet class. Did it my whole life. Moved to New York when I was 16. My injury sidelined me and sort of forced me to change course, which really was a blessing. I'm glad that it did, because it's now taken me on this whole other path that, I still had the ballet experience, but then I've also been able to hone my craft in what I'm doing now. So growing up in Los Angeles, moved out to New York, lived there for a few years, moved back, went to college, got my degree in print journalism, but my first job was in radio. So I kind of hit the ground in broadcast. And radio was a lot of fun because it's a different medium, right? It's using sound, it's using really good, strong writing, knowing how to boil things down to, a minute long, 45 seconds in order to tell a whole story. And it's immediate. So you are sent out to a story, and then once you get on the scene, within 20 minutes, you can have a story to feed back. So I enjoyed the immediacy of that, but like print journalism, radio was ever evolving at the time that I was in that business. Unfortunately, it continues to kind of dissolve with time. There's just so many options that we have these days, and terrestrial radio is sort of a dying art. But mad respect for people who have stuck with it, and you have to have such talent to be able to carry a radio show, whether it's news or talk or DJing or whatever it is. It takes a special person to be able to carry that off and do it well. But then, so I was just kind of in the right place at the right time, working at KCBS TV in Los Angeles, and that's actually where I got my first TV job. There was an opening for a traffic reporter, And having never spent a day in my life on TV, I walked into my news director's office and I asked him, I said, hey, would you mind giving me a shot? What's the worst thing he could say is no, get out.
Right.
And he said neither, but he did say, if we decide to let you go on, it'll be one time. And if
You got one shot.
You get one shot. That's it. So long story short, I got to continually appear and do the traffic, and honed, those skills, because they're very different, especially when you're like in front of a green screen, you're pointing to stuff and you have to relate to the camera. It's such a weird, back then, now it's natural. Now it just feels like,
Yeah.
thing in the world. But then it was nerve wracking. And then I ended up getting a job in San Francisco at the ABC affiliate there, and did traffic, weather, field reporting, did a little bit of anchoring. I knew that was the direction that I wanted to head in, and ultimately doing what I'm doing now, which is sit down interviews with people. So I loved, and I felt like doing traffic and weather was such a wonderful way to get my feet wet in TV. But ultimately, I'm just curious about people, and I love talking to people. So I just feel much more at home doing what I'm doing now.
Yeah, and that comes across too. Like every interview I've seen you do, and every interview we've had, it's just this, this open mindedness, this compassion, this intrigue. Like it's written all over your face, and by the questions you ask, it's very professional, but at the same time, so like organic and authentic. It's not forced. It's just genuine.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and like yourself, I think that's important. Like you. To interview people, you have to be curious. You have to be a curious, inquisitive person. Just in
right. And now you have to combine elements because you're the executive producer, and so you're probably writing stuff for each episode, right? Like so that print experience and radio where you were writing now is kind of adapting to this, right? Or applying to this.
Absolutely. So I want to give a shout out to my team at Fox24 News Now. So that's the name of the talk show on Fox24 in Charleston. We have a small but mighty team. You would be surprised looking at the show. It's very few hands that have put it together. You think of any kind of talk show, you've just got a whole roster of people with very specific jobs doing all kinds of things. And so I am so grateful for the team that I have. I have a senior booking producer. I have a wonderful director. We are currently looking for another multimedia journalist, or MMJ. So if anybody is interested, we love to take new talent under our wing and help, our show be sort of a launching pad onto bigger and better things. But yeah, it's just, we have a great team that we work with. And of course, from management to creative services, everybody pulls their weight and then some at the station.
Yeah.
So it's all been a huge blessing that has allowed us to stay on the air for as long as we have. We're going to be going on 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it sounds like you need a pretty dynamic team to pull that off. And like, how has it evolved though? Like from year one to now, like I'm sure there's been a lot of changes and a lot of,
a lot of changes. Well, goodness gracious. So when we first launched, we were recording live to tape. So meaning a half hour before we needed to send the finished product off to get ready to air for the first time, because we aired twice a day, once at 12:30 and then another at 11 p.m. But it was so stressful. We did that for a few years, where it was just literally 2 minutes to get the one guest out and the next guest
Wow.
in, mic'd up, and again with the same number of people involved. So we were like
Wow.
running around with our hair on fire. It was exhausting. It was so exhausting. But then COVID hit, and to the credit of our then director, he figured it out, man. Like, we didn't know what we were going to do. The world shut down, and we're like,
yeah.
what are we going to do? Like,
how do you do
right?
Right.
So he figured out the tech to have us each in our own respective homes, him directing, our senior booking producer producing, and me, hosting and writing and all that stuff. So it was just like, during an interview, I would have my earbud connected to my phone that my producer was on, so she could give me time cues. And then we just changed it up. Like, it was amazing. But what we learned in the process, I'll just keep it short. What we learned in the process is that we started working a lot in post-production. And so that has sort of freed us up to continue to do that, where we're not so stressed out every single day with the number of people that we have as a resource. So we're still putting on 5 days a week, but we've just figured out a new schedule system. Yes.
Yeah.
And that has been a huge relief.
Yeah, I tell you what, I mean, you don't know about this until you're like in it yourself. Like for me, like editing is the biggest exhausting task of all of it, I think. It's like I don't even want to do it.
It's the worst.
Now, do you do editing? Do you do editing too, or is that one of your specialists that handle that?
That is our director. God bless her, Amanda. She does an incredible job. She directs and she edits everything together, and she does a wonderful, wonderful job. And also under the tutelage of Adam Bradley, our previous director, which you probably remember.
Yeah,
he's the one who just kind of helped us get it all started and off the ground in the first place. So you need to have a really strong editor and someone who enjoys doing it.
Yeah.
And that's just something I've had to do it. I've done it.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite thing to do, but it's an art, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It really is. You get to be creative, but you have these confines and these guidelines that you have to stay within, these parameters.
Right.
Now you have, so you probably worn all these different hats of all the individual team, all the job roles or whatever. You've done it all, right?
Yes. Yes, I have. I've done everything. When you've been doing it as long as I have, you will end up doing everything. And it starts as a weekend. I was a weekend writer in radio for a news station there. And then that grew into producing a couple of daily shows at that station. Then I went into editing for our sister station. And, you just keep going up the ladder and amassing more skills, because you always end up using that stuff somehow later down the road.
Right. So that just tells me that you're pretty versatile. And you have to be, right?
You have to be. And can I also say you have to be even more versatile now, because you've added, today you've added the AI component of it, but social media, when I first got started, social media was just burgeoning. It wasn't even really a thing. Twitter had just come onto the scene, and Facebook and all that stuff. Now those very same platforms are being used as tools to continuously sell your product, continuously put out content. And to do it well, it's easier said than done.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think, I don't think people, like the general population, give enough credit to people that are content creators, and then the behind the scenes of it all. I don't think they could fathom what actually goes on to develop a show as successful as yours.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I think nowadays, and especially with the advent of YouTube and all of the social platforms, everybody, has kind of gotten into the influencer space, and not everybody does it well. So that's where you kind of separate the wheat from the chaff. You see the ones who really just want to hear themselves talk, or just want to see their face and just want to, try to get as many likes as possible. But I will tell you that it should be more important to me, honestly, social media. It is not in the past, and I have tried to keep profiles private, but then I was recently told you need to make it public because no one's going to see your stuff. I'm like, okay, all right. Now I feel the pressure that I'm having to post all the time, but I don't want to get lost in all of that minutia. I really love being able to just focus on talking to people, face to face, one on one, and then hopefully helping the audience learn something new that could help them in their lives. That's really what I want to focus my time on.
So is that something that you have in mind when booking your guests? Is how does this add value to your audience? It's all about the audience, right?
Absolutely. Because chances are, if I find something interesting or if I'm curious about something, other people are too. And if I've got the platform in which to, ask, do you want to come on and talk about this thing? Why wouldn't I do it? I don't like to necessarily follow what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes you kind of have to, especially if it's election season and, you got to talk to politicians and, that you're also performing a service in that way. But we have always sort of marched to our own beat, and we like to select stuff that just seems interesting, pitched, something interesting, then we like to bring those people on.
How many, what's the ratio between guests that you actually go seek out or guests coming to you? Because I think I got hooked up with you by reaching out. Well, I was shocked that you even had me on,
No, I think if you've got the goods, then yeah, absolutely. We don't say no just, to be difficult. We really try to measure, is this going to benefit the audience, add value? Of course, we also like to champion people in the community. So if you're a musician, if you're selling pasta sauce, if you're a restaurateur, if you just open a new boutique, we like to champion small business. I grew up in an entrepreneurial family, and I know how difficult it is to get there. I also know how difficult it is to keep it, to stay dedicated to that life. And so, I have a soft spot in my heart for people like that. And if I can help in any way, and if that's by giving them a segment, an interview or something, then I love to do it.
Yeah. And, you can tell I feel that every time I talk to you, it's you really care and you're really interested in the art behind entrepreneurialism, because it takes an artistic mind to some degree to pull off, successful brand or, company, because.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, it's an exhaustive process, and you invest a lot in it too. So
yeah. Oh, I'm here to tell you, you sure do.
Nothing to sneeze at.
No. Now, So wait. So I heard also that you're starting another company. You're getting into PR. Let's. What is that all about?
Yeah. So, sort of the natural transition for a lot of us journalists is to go from, being in the news business on that side of things to representing people to get them on the news. And so I and two other partners, we decided to join forces and create a consortium where we will take on clients and provide our individual skill set and expertise to help businesses, just anybody who needs marketing and public relations assistance. media training, things like that. So it's me, and you will know the mayor of Mount Pleasant, Mr. Will Haney.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so he is one of my partners, and our other partner, Wayne Capps, he runs marketing for the VA downtown. So, and each of us has such a wide, varied expertise with a lot of depth and years behind it. So we each kind of come to the table with our own unique experiences. And so that's why we decided, it's best to do it together than to try to do it individually. And so far, it's been really great. We only launched back in July, and it's been doing very well.
That's incredible and fascinating to me because, now you're on the other side of it. I think it's got to be exciting for you to be on that other side, right?
It is. It's one thing, when you're in front of the camera all the time, it's fun, it's great, I enjoy what I do, but there's something to be said to be behind the camera and to also help people, to help them sell themselves. Like, I know what it takes for a guest to give a good interview, and to be able to impart those tools to help them better sell themselves and make them confident when talking about it is such a badge of pride for me.
Yeah.
I love being on that side of things. And the media training. I've been doing media training for some years now, and I just love doing that. I love it. It's such a non-threatening practice ground to teach people what they're doing right, what they can improve on, and to get a feel for what it's like, especially if they know they're going to be in front of a camera or a reporter.
Right. And this, you know what, Leyla, this isn't even surprising to me that you're getting into this, because you've always been encouraging and you just have that spirit about you where you want to see somebody succeed. You want to see somebody get better. And I felt that coming onto your show. And so this is not a surprise.
Yeah. Well, so someone told me once that people really do want to see you succeed. And that always stuck in my head, because when I was so nervous, the first traffic hit that I did in front of the camera live at 4:30 in the morning to,
oh, wow.
Yeah, 4:30 in the morning to our Los Angeles audience. I mean, it's like Charleston, we're a growing city, but there are millions of people who live in Los Angeles, and we, especially back in those days, we had 800 viewers. So the heat was on. And I'll never forget, this is just a quick little anecdote. So that particular studio, KCBS studio where we were broadcasting the news from, was like a meat locker. It was so cold in there. However, I had sweat dripping down my back. I was so nervous. I bet. So nervous. But I always have that thought in my head that anybody who's watching, they just want to see you do well. They just want to see you succeed. And that gives you so much confidence, because it's like, oh, they're not waiting for me to mess up. Oh, they're not waiting for me to fall on my face.
Right.
Okay. All right. I can get behind that, and that's just always stayed with me, and I tell everybody the same thing. I mean, sure, you're going to have some people that are like, I don't like her, and I'd love to see her fall on her face, but most people are not like that.
Right. And it's getting on your show, that boosted my confidence. It's like, okay, I could get on any show now. If I could just do this and Leyla didn't say I suck, I think I got a good shot at being good.
You've never no.
Hey, so
always been a great guest.
Well, thank you. I mean, some people say I got a face only a mother could love, but
oh, that's not true at all. You're a handsome devil. Come on now. You know that. I think you're fishing.
Yeah. I'm fishing. You're right. No, so we were talking this episode got we were filming, and then something happened. I don't know if there was a meteor shower, and in the galaxy somewhere and shut our recording off, and then we had to do it over again. You told me about an experience you had, like, those moments, right, that you'll never get again.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, how do you cope with that, and how does your guest cope with that?
So here's another piece of advice that I got from a veteran in the radio business. Always be prepared for something to go wrong. And there was one instance where I don't know that it could have even been helped. I think it was just a technical glitch, but unfortunately it was such an important interview. I'll just tell you and your audience what it is. We had arranged this very special, poignant reunion between two people that I don't think had ever met, but they were profoundly connected, related in some way. And they were going to reconnect live on our show. And I was going to interview them. And there were tears, and there was joy, and there was just such profundity to this particular interview. And somehow, somewhere, the interview got destroyed, lost, gone forever. And that was such a gut punch. What made it even worse is having to tell the guests that moment that they were counting on, holding on to as a memento,
right,
was gone. And it was just, I don't know that I'll ever truly get over it, if I'm being completely honest. It pops into my head every now and again, and it has always since then reminded me, like, make sure we've got this, make sure it's uploaded, we've got 2 copies, so it was a huge learning experience.
Yeah, I'm sure that kind of set the tone for every interview after that, right? I mean, you're probably gun shy and like on edge the next time you had a guest, right?
You get the whole team in a room. You could have cut the air with a knife, so it wasn't the most. It wasn't the best of times, but we. And
I'm sorry to drudge up that bad experience, but now did you like say, hey, let's roll again, let's try to capture it again, or you can't recreate that, right?
It was too late. We didn't know that we didn't have it until days later.
Oh, which makes it even worse.
And I think one of them had flown in that morning.
Wow. So you arranged this whole thing. Oh, I couldn't imagine.
I don't want to
devastating
anymore.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. God bless you. That was a long time ago. And you never made it never happened again, right?
No, it's not. It's not. We've had other glitches, but then it's been fixable. But that's the thing. It's technology, right? And things can always go wrong. They can always go wrong. That's why you always have to be prepared for things to go wrong and have a backup plan. So you always have to have a contingency in place.
Now, do you do any other virtual interviews?
You mean while we're in studio?
Yeah. Do you still do that? Because you're talking about like COVID days, you had to.
Yes. And that's the other thing is with Zoom, or we were using Skype for a long time too. With that technology, we realized it's not totally necessary that someone comes into our studio. Yes, it's always best because you read off of people's energy and body language, which changes the interview so drastically. But when that's impossible to happen and you don't want to miss interviewing somebody, then we still do virtual interviews. I've done really cool interviews. Interviewed John Oates, Jim Croce's son.
Really?
We politicians we've done. They could be in DC. We'll be able to bring them in virtually. All kinds of people. So and some of those big names, when they can't make it into the studio, then we always love to have them come virtually. Like, we'll take whatever we get.
Yeah, well, and that's the blessing about technology. But yeah, it's either working with you or at times randomly working against you.
Yeah,
There's no telling.
yeah, that's right.
It,
That's right.
it's dangerous.
Good
It's
with
like
bad.
right, right. So like, what are some of the most like profound interviews you've done like that you could think of? Like, what was like the highlight, the
The
one
one that
interview
we have,
that was the
the
one?
one that got lost.
No, oh man,
It was. It was. That was, yeah, that was really important. But we've had other really great interviews. You know, there there are so many people that are doing so many good things for people. So there's profound, there's meaningful, there's passion, and we've had all of that on the program. There's one young lady, I call her my namesake because her name is also Leyla. And she is also from the San Fernando Valley, which is where I was brought up in Los Angeles. So funny enough, we meet here in Charleston.
wow,
Yeah, and she's been a wonderful champion for the autistic and neurodivergent community. She established legislation that introduced a special license plate so that
huh?
if you are or if you have a family member that has autism that could be riding in a vehicle, you get stopped by police, then they recognize the B symbol.
Oh,
Her company is called Just Be the Change or Just Be, BE.
oh,
So she's her little symbol emblem is a bumblebee, and they are now making license plates with that emblem on it so that first responders, law enforcement, they recognize it and then they make sure that they turn the lights off. They lower the sirens, turn those off. They, easily approach the vehicle, things like that. Because she has a son who's a teenager now. He is nonverbal autistic. And she is such a petite little thing. She was riding in the car with her son once, got pulled over, and the poor dear, it was not pretty. She ended up getting bitten. She still bears the scars. It can be extremely stressful for everybody. So she has been a huge proponent and champion for the autistic community to just sort of also change our perception of what it means to be neurodivergent. And everybody has their own thresholds,
Yeah.
But yeah, she's doing wonderful things in the community, and we love having her on.
Yeah, wow, how impactful and innovative too to think of something like that. I mean, that's going to help a lot of people.
Very much so, very much so. And if you ever go out to an event, she's got this adorable space. It's called the Beehive, and it's got like different types of stimuli to kind of calm you down. So when you're at an event like a carnival or like the pumpkin patch at Boone Hall just a weekend ago, she was there. And so if you get overstimulated, you can just go inside this trailer called Beehive and just sort of calm down, come back to baseline, and then go back out. And that, because think about it, families, they go into these situations, they pay the ticket, they pay the parking, immediately their loved one gets overstimulated, then they got to go. They have to leave.
Yeah.
So you're out all the effort and money just to get there when really all they needed was a safe space to time out. And yeah, she's creating safe spaces and wonderful things.
Yeah, I mean, every event needs something like that because there's a lot of people with those issues that are attending these things, and yeah, I can imagine how stressful that's got to be for a caretaker. Like you want to take this person with you to these events, but yeah, they could have an episode of some kind, and I think that's just brilliant. I think that's wonderful.
Oh yeah, and we cover everything. People who are advocates for domestic violence victims, advocates for human trafficking victims, advocates for cleaner environments, for veterans, there's just so many people who are willing to stand up and put themselves out there to help others. And I think they all, they all deserve that same level of respect and what I would consider some of our most profound guests.
And that speaks so highly of the station that's a theme, like an ongoing theme from the beginning, starting the show. Like that's something that you guys take pride in. That says a lot,
Yeah, and we're fortunate to be able to do it too, because we are not we're just a talk show. It's not. We have some sponsored segments, but we're not a pay-per-play, is what you would sort of call it. We can be that autonomous and sort of masters of our own destiny and who we decide we want to have on the show. We are given great artistic license and latitude with what we decide to put on the show. And so that is to the credit of our management, truly. They've been nothing but supportive of that.
And that's probably unique in the world of media, right? Like a lot of these other shows probably have to be like very strict on this is what they want. You know what I mean? They don't give.
And also having the time to do it. You watch the news and for sake of making sure that, enough stories get on the air, everything is having to be made shorter and shorter. But we kind of stick to like a 4 or 5 segment show every day. And we get to give someone, anywhere from 5 to 9 minutes to talk, which it's rare. It doesn't sound like that much, and truly, as you know, the time goes by really fast.
It does.
It goes really fast. So that's where I feel like sometimes I'm just barely scratching the surface, but I want to make sure that we get into other stuff. And at least like you can get the idea off the ground, and anybody who's interested in learning more about it, they can dive deeper or contact the guest or whatever they need to do. But we just want to put out there as much as we possibly can.
Right. And hey, listen, to take a little segue, we were having a conversation about you potentially acting, going into a little acting situation. I want to hear the live reaction. You read the little excerpt. Like, let's hear it. What do you think?
Oh my gosh. So essentially I would kind of be playing myself, but maybe with an attitude.
Yep.
I'm really intrigued by this. Maybe you should set it up for us, Joe, because this is your baby. This is your project, and you so generously and kindly suggested me to play this part, not knowing what my acting chops are capable of. So
listen.
You may be sorry.
This is crazy. So this character, this book, this is a continuation of my memoir, which I talked about on your show. So the first book was nonfiction. Now I did a fictional continuation where only 3 characters in the entire second book are made up. However, the one character, Cheryl Regis, is modeled after you. So like how no, seriously, like your personality, like, but with this like devious, like maniacal side too, which I think is so interesting because you're not that at all,
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I won't have to stretch so far.
What we didn't know.
You don't know me that well. No, I'm just kidding.
You are on the Lunatics show.
That's right. You know me. No, but aren't those the best roles to play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like sweet, innocent on the outside, but you're up to no good.
That's right. Yeah. A soft and warm center with a lot of grit on the outside. Well, I will say I would love to take some acting classes, I think, in order to do that character justice.
Yeah.
Also just remembering to kind of let go. Fun fact, some years ago, I took an improv class at Theater downtown.
Huh.
I was the worst one in the class. So if that's any indication as to what you've now just embarked upon.
Well, this whole thing is about redemption. So this is your opportunity, Leyla. Come out there swinging.
Yeah, touche, Joe.
I got faith in you. I have the utmost. You wouldn't be in this. Your character wouldn't be in this story if I didn't believe in your abilities.
I appreciate that. So when do we get started?
I mean, it's ongoing. Like we're in early stages of development, but we're talking to the producers.
Okay.
The script's got to get written. So like the book is written and the story is there, the plot is there, but now we need screenplay writers, and it really all comes down to funding. Funding is really the only obstacle, but we're getting close. We're getting very close to sealing that deal.
That's exciting. And so it's all set in Charleston. So everything's going to be set here. And,
yes.
That would be so cool. That would be such a cool thing to watch take off. I have no doubt that you can do it.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy. Like we were talking about Charleston becoming like a sister to Hollywood, right? And these film producers, Danny McBride, and the networks are interested in this layout, the culture of Charleston. Like, look at Outer Banks, Righteous Gemstones. Right. I mean, so it's becoming a hotspot, right?
Well, I mean, just Rough House Pictures. You had Eastbound and Down, and Vice Principals, Righteous Gemstones. I'm sure he's done other things that have been filmed either here or North Carolina as well, just that North Carolina vibe. But yes, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think probably financially it makes a lot of sense. California made it very difficult for crews to, be able to do their job without it just costing way too much money. Of course, some productions make gazillions of dollars, but a lot of productions don't, and it hinders the creative process. That's why a lot of production ended up going up to Canada, because like they'll recreate, some American town somewhere in Canada because it's just cheaper to do it there.
Yeah, and the money that you can save on location, you could be putting into, your cast and other essential roles within production.
That's right. Yeah, cast and crew.
Yep.
And it's a real, to be in that industry, because my grandfather on my mother's side, he was a makeup artist for the studios.
Oh, okay.
So he was a professional makeup artist and has a long resume of shows, productions, movies that he performed makeup on. And you bounce, from one job to the other. So the life of a crew member, whether you're a grip or hair and makeup, costumes, production, editing, whatever the case may be, these are all things that require so much talent to do well. And then, if you're constantly having to outsource or you just those jobs become fewer and fewer, and it's not fair. When people are so good at their craft, you want to give them jobs. Like, I would love to see people just working 365 every single year. Like, that's how it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what's crazy about this whole thing, so the series is called Sauced, right? So it's taking place on the farm in Adams Run that I haven't bought yet. However, Outer Banks Production has already approached the current owners of that property to film out there, and and those owners said no, and the owners are kind of like holding out, like they don't want to sell this place to just anybody. No, like golf course developer or real estate developer is going to be able to come in and get this property. So they're kind of waiting for me to get this thing together, because what I'm doing is what they want to see happen, like because of the conservation for that property. It's 1,700 acres, and there's like wetlands, and so we want to protect it and put as little.
Beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely breathtaking and gorgeous. But so and part of the plot in this story is people trying to attack the environment there. Like they're trying to poison the animals and like all kinds of stuff. And I hate to say it, you're behind it.
Oh, I love being a antagonist, I should say. Oh, that's great. That's wonderful.
So like the whole idea is like you have this podcast. you have this podcast called like the Truth Diary. I can't even remember what it's called, but you're like your mission is to bring down like these public figures that are doing stuff good for the community. You're trying to bring them down, which is the opposite of what you do in real life.
I know. But you know what? It's fun to put on a mask and be somebody else for a day.
Right, right. I'm
I'm
excited.
looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
should start practicing now. I should start memorizing my lines.
Well, I don't have any lines yet. I mean, I got some. There is dialogue, but I don't want like. I can't wait to just get this script done because I think it's going
Yeah,
to be profound.
I think so
Tom
too.
Wigan. Tom Wigan. So he was a star in the '90s on As the World Turns, I believe, one of those soap operas.
Sure. Okay.
So
Yeah.
he's the one that's helping me with everything with production. Atomic Focus. Yeah,
That's so
yeah.
wonderful. Oh my gosh. So you've got a lot of people behind you. I mean, you have people that have a lot of faith in you, Joe.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been
Yes.
blessed. I've been
They
blessed. You know.
see a lot of like promise, which
Yeah.
is wonderful.
Yeah, and I think my connections, like I have so many different friends and so many different walks of life. Like I'm talking, you're here on the show. You're a Fox executive producer, like and then people in the manufacturing industry and like veterans and politicians. Like I'm getting involved just so many different areas. I think that helps with everything.
Yeah, it's true. The more people you know, and it just opens up your world so much more. So when you were a musician, were you just always hanging around with other musicians?
Pretty much, yeah.
Is that what it was? Yeah. And, I mean, that's pretty typical because you're constantly rehearsing, practicing, playing, performing, recording, whatever the case may be. So you're always in that world. But as soon as you start doing something like this, then those doors just swing wide open. It's everybody. It's
Right.
everybody, which it makes you a more faceted person as well.
Yeah, and you know what? The events going on in Charleston, like there's so much opportunity for people to get involved with like film and business in general. This is such a thriving business community, like all different types of industries, and which brings me to this next thing we were talking about a possible guest for your show.
Yes.
Alexandria Nicole, she is the founder of EYG, Elevate Your Growth, and she's doing this event at the Moxie. You should definitely come because it's gonna be cool. And she's donating. Like I can't remember what percentage, but it's for a charity. It's a charity event. But I'm doing a signature fragrance for the event, so we're gonna have
Oh wow.
yeah, cool. Mm-hmm.
So elevate your growth. So what do they do?
So it's like an encouraging community of entrepreneurs. What she saw as a problem and an issue with some networking events is like going to these events and feeling alienated and not like not really feeling a part of and like getting long lasting relationships beyond that event. You know what I'm saying? So she wanted to create this big like an experience that lasts basically.
Yeah. There are lots of networking events around town. I've been invited to some. I really haven't had the opportunity to go, usually because it's, work is always getting in the way. But, I think to a degree it helps, not to knock any of these networking groups at all. But there's got to be like another way for everybody to collaborate. I mean, they've got, just different incubators and things like that. But I don't know.
Well, kind of like what you're saying with the Beeple and Danny McBride thing as like an immersive experience.
Right.
That's kind of what she's doing. So now it's like people are emotionally invested in the event.
That makes so much of a difference. Yeah. Immersive, that's the new thing, right? Like everything is an immersive experience.
Mm-hmm.
You could go and see a Van Gogh on a wall, but then they've got this touring company where you can be immersed into the artwork itself, and it's, all 360 around you. So yeah, I think that's like the new thing that really captures people's interest is when they actually feel like a participant.
Right. Exactly. Yep, and yeah, so that's kind of, and I don't want to give too much away what she has planned, and and my role in this. But we are, as soon as you walk in the door, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel like this is different. This is,
Yeah.
I'm in it now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. So October 31st, and it's called
Halloween.
Corks, Connections, and I can't remember the third word. Oh my God, she's gonna kill me. Anyway, Corks, Costumes and Connections. Corks,
Oh,
Costumes,
okay.
Connections. Yes.
So we have to come dressed as something?
Yeah, and the best dressed gets a trip to like Costa Rica or something.
Get out of here.
I swear. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay, game on. I'm coming as a tomato.
I'm coming as a chef.
Oh, there you go. Way to stretch. Come on.
I know. No, I'll come up with something. I'll be like a box of chocolates. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or a pumpkin.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah. Me too. Well, hey, listen, I know this has been a long interview. I appreciate you so much.
Go in if you want.
I just am I'm blown away by what you do and who you are, and I am so looking forward to our future, this ongoing relationship that we can see coming.
Indeed. Well, I'm so flattered that you asked me. It's been such a pleasure, Joe. What a fun conversation. You're a really great interviewer.
Really, I had fun. And it looks like you had fun. Yeah. Well, that's what the Lunatics is all about. Just letting it go. Let it go.
Well, we'll have to do this again.
Definitely. Oh yeah, definitely. Because I want to hear more. Like as you get going with your PR company, we got to talk. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah.
You betcha. All right.
Hey, thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
All right.